Come on, please. Yes! 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 Yes!
Hello, everybody. Oh, hang on. Hello. I didn't quite. Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is episode number 29 of the 9 Dart Podcast, your one-stop shop for talking tungsten. Lorenzo and Josh in the studio this week. How are we, Josh, on
Hello.
this Wednesday afternoon?
Very well. How are you?
I'm okay. We've had a big week. We're talking a lot of Australian darts, which we don't actually do that much. But it was a big week in Australian darts. And there's a few levels to get through. First of all, we had the World Series of Darts come to Australia over the 8th and the 9th of August in Wollongong. I thought it was a pretty good tournament. A good crowd, particularly on the Saturday night in particular, on that final night of the competition. We had a few good performances to look through. Some standout performances from quite a few guys.
No doubt.
How did you see the tournament overall? I thought it was another strong one. Certainly from the standpoint of a lot of the PDC players, they had a particularly good weekend out.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Like all the PD stars baseball, in the first round, they all won. And
Yep.
Obviously, we know Header is now a PDC representative, and I know Shannock representative because he's just that good.
Yes, exactly.
Which is great. There were no real upsets, but there are some very positive surprises we'll get to.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, it was pretty good.
There were a few crazy moments. Here's the let me turn my audio up on the first one. The first one is Littler, 170. And the bullseye. Oh, that's frozen on us, but he definitely got the 60-60 bull. The next one was Brody Kling won his only leg against Stephen Bunting with a 161.
Actually showed this time.
And over at the Modus Super Series, I saw this morning. This was very unlucky for Van der Velde. 60-60.
And
Second and third one
60
out.
actually.
Very
60. Oh, sorry.
No,
60.
only 60. So we'll get on to Modus because it's a massive week at the Modus Super Series as Series 11 wraps up. But Luke Littler won the Australian Darts Masters in Wollongong, the number 4 seed. Wouldn't have been a seed had Rob Cross or Nathan Aspinall bothered to make the trip to Australia. He played a match against Puha where he was below his best, but game through 6-5, and then ramped up into gear 6-3 over Damon Hatter, 7-4 against Stephen Bunting, who had a very good couple of performances.
He was impressive.
Before that.
Yeah, he was good.
101 average against Brody Kling, only that 161 save Kling from a whitewash. And then he whitewashed Josh Rock, Stephen Bunting. And that was a match where Stephen Bunting was just hitting last dart in hand. Poor Josh Rock, he didn't play particularly well. He's actually averaged slightly more on the 3-dart average. But Bunting was just able to keep him at bay. I think he only got the 1-dart double in that match, did Paul Rocky, who was good on his very first match, 108 average against Simon Whitlock. But it was trades of throw in that semi-final between Bunting and Littler until Littler found a break of 3. He didn't actually really need because he won the ball. And then in the final, won the ball as well against Mike DeDecker, and cruised through 8-4. Once he can still put in those shoddy performances at the beginning of tournaments, Littler, that's where you're going to have to beat him, I think, going forward. If you don't beat him in those first couple of matches, we saw that at the World Championship where it was a bit below his best, and then he put in a record average set. And even the Ryan Joyce match as well, it was nip and tuck there, and he needed the last set to get over the line. But other than that, won every other match convincingly. If you don't get him early, Littler, you may never get him at all unless you're also named Luke.
It seems to be the further he gets into tournaments, the better he plays. He just goes up gear again and again. But obviously, Puha was so close to having the only upset win. But again, after that game, he was very, very good. 102 average against Header, obviously, 98 against Bunting, and then 99 against Decker. So after that shaky start, he was very, very good.
I loved him after the match. He was saying he used the word finally, because I finally got my hand on the trophy. It was only the second time he's been here.
2 years?
That's the mindset of Luke Littler. He
Jeez.
wants to win everything, and he wants to win them as quickly as he can, or is on the better side of it.
And multiple of
eventually. But at the very least, start with one and get that one done quickly. So I think also it's been a bit of frustrating on the World Series. He's won all those first round matches, so he's beaten all the local guys. But then it's been quarterfinal, semi-final, and he's run into some thrilling performances by Gowan Price and Stephen Bunting in particular. But On this particular occasion, he was a bit above. He was a bit better than everyone else in those matches, and it was a very strong performance from Littler. Mike Dedecker as well. I know you got someone else down for the positive surprise, but that was after a shocking opener, only 80 average. It probably looked a little bit better than the 80 average, to be fair, but after that, he ramped into gear. 103 average against Luke Humphries. Luke Humphries was feeling a bit ill.
Yeah.
He
has
had a high
mentioned online
temperature,
that he's
but
been getting antibiotics as well, so
yeah.
hopefully he's okay coming to this weekend.
But Dedecker was still great. That 103 average
No
on its
doubt.
own was very much worthy of a win in that replay of the Grand Prix final. He beat Chris Dobie as well, who had a good run to the semi-final and wasn't at it quite up to Littler's stand in the final. He sort of dropped all night on. But overall, a good performance from Mike Dedecker, once again putting himself in that Premier League conversation, on the sense of he's won anything just yet. He'll probably need to make a good run of the World Championship. If he defends the World Grand Prix, he'll be sort of back in that conversation. If he makes like a final at the Slam or semi-finals at the Players' Championships, he'll be in contention as well, or at least in the conversation. But he's clearly shown that he's okay with these sort of occasions for him. They don't get too big on him, because this is basically an extended Premier League night.
Oh, no doubt. Well, would you say he's very similar to Damo in the whole conversation thing? Like, they're very similar players to get to that next level. I think they're
If you had a
very
Premier League
close.
second tier, he'd be in it.
Oh, no doubt. Of course.
But we don't do that, and I don't think the
Unfortunately
PC will ever do that.
B grade.
Yeah, the B grade, the reserves, the resis.
Reserves. We call here.
Yes, so yeah, but look, Dedecker, it proved himself once again, as he's done a few times in sort of smaller contexts, is that he has been able to, that these events don't get big on him. And the sign over to Mission Darts has looked pretty good for him at the moment.
Sure has.
Signed over there earlier in the year. In terms of the positive surprises, it was really the Kiwis that were really our best hopes. I mean, Tim Pusey also played pretty well as well. He only went down 6-4, and he actually looked the better than Chris Dobie in some of that match. But Puha in particular, and Tata as well, Johnny Tata, who won the first couple of legs against Luke Humphries as well, gave us something to swallow. And they're probably in a slightly stronger position than New Zealanders at the moment, at least off the back of this tournament.
Yeah, they were impressive. They were our positive surprises, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, obviously Puha's the main one. He pushed Littler so close. I think he had a potential break of throw to go up on that one as well, but he was very good. And for Tata, he again get those early legs against Humphries, but Humphries was too good in the end. But again, gave something to smile about coming into New Zealand this weekend, hey?
Yes, absolutely, and we'll look ahead of that going forward. But it needs to be noted that historically Australia was the best ground for the World Series in terms of these international... in terms of these local guys upsetting the big names, because for every World Series event going into back to 2022, there was at least one. Every tournament, and we know Carl Anderson and Damon Heta won World Series events.
Sure.
But in the last couple of years, when it's been reduced to just the one, I mean, it was the one in 2022 as well, no winners. All first-round exits there.
All
first rounds. That was last year's as well, when some were looking people up with both tour card holders. Rob Montgomery played Luke Littler. I remember that game. But I think this shows why the ANZ Premier League and the ADA are really needed at the moment, because we've dropped away a bit. I say we, the Australian, New Zealand, Oceanic has dropped away a bit. Asia's now ever more strong. The CDC are doing great stuff as well. And we know, obviously, the growth of dart in sort of Eastern Europe. But yeah, we're in desperate need for a few more stronger performances. Because let's be honest, other than 3 matches, Puha, Pusey and Tata, even to a less extent, it was all pretty smooth sailing for the superstars. I think that's also a sign that they've also gotten better over the years, and they're stronger as well.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, yeah, I was hoping especially Clinch would go a bit further, because I've been watching him.
There's been a lot of talk on Brody Clinch, and then Stephen Bunting averaged 101 and just ended that conversation pretty quickly.
I think ADA did a reel and said, who's the next Damon Heta? I'm not sure if you saw that. And a lot of mention of Clinch, Raymond Smith, Tim Pusey, sort of these guys. So, but yeah, it was disappointing to see Clinch not do as well as what I've hoped. But again, 95 average against Bunting, that's still pretty good. Number one seed.
I've got Raymond Smith as the one for that sort of thing. You know, he doesn't really play these PDC affiliated events, so we don't see a lot of him at the moment. And he's going to Lakeside instead of Ali Pali this year. But I think he's that. I think he's really that next one, or the most like to be that one. But I'm liking the way Tim Pusey is playing at the moment.
I agree.
So I think on that PDC affiliated side, and we'll get to the ANZ Premier League in a moment. On that, I like him as sort of as one of the real big threats there. This is all you, and I'm so disappointed that everyone wants to have a whinge at this guy, because Luke Littler is it's funny, you know, when you read comments on social media, people complaining about Littler being talked about a lot, and I'm like, well, he is the best guy here, and I reckon this attitude that you clearly don't like, and a lot of people don't like, oh, this is what makes Littler a very watchable character. He wants to be a bit of a showman, particularly with the single one to leave 171, which was bananas.
Got some
Did
comments
he nearly take it out as well? Did he miss the ball on that one?
Yeah,
or maybe
he
not?
did.
Yeah, he
Right.
did.
Yeah, he did.
See,
Yeah.
that's it actually makes more sense. I reckon the 170 is probably more likely for him to get than a 151.
That's true. I mean, well, that's the thing, because you get the two treble 20s, and then I reckon he's got a better chance of getting it than going there, you know, instead of having three different ways, you got two and then the one. So, yeah, I know he's just 18. I know he is, but it seems to be, to me, he's got some sort of cocky arrogance sometimes that I don't like. I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it again. These comments sort of
it's a mixed
points.
view. Well, the top ones do. The bottom ones are the defensive ones. To be fair.
Yeah, true.
You brought it. You gave us a range.
I have given it a range, yeah. So, again, saying single one on 171 on purposely, someone saying he's just disrespectful towards your opponent. And you got to remember, Puha is a tour card holder. He's not some guy on the street.
Yeah, but he's gonna lose his card barring an absolute miracle.
Probably.
He needs to get to. I'm actually going to find the end of year one while we're talking about this.
Yeah.
I think he's like in the 80s on the end of year one. So he basically, if he doesn't make like the slam through that weird qualifier that they have, or make a deep run at the World Championships, which he's not even in, he needs to go through the tour card holder. He's not going to get. That's not Littler's fault. The guy he's playing isn't in that top echelon of standard where we know he's been. Oh no, he's way worse, 102. I thought it was a bit higher than that. Not in any major, not in any Euro tours. So he's going to need a miracle, Puha, unfortunately, to keep on to his talk. It was one I was watching right from last year, just with the New Zealand connection. But he's not quite been at it on the Pro Tour side of things.
Well, yeah, you make a good point, but however, it wasn't an easy game for Littler. If you won 6-0, okay, fair enough. But I know he won the tournament in the end, but just in that moment, you know. So got some conflict of opinion on both sides of those highlighted texts there. So I don't know. That's just me personally. But then we'll get to the crowd in a moment.
Well, the crowd I'm not sure. That's probably a bit more oversimplification. I think it was one corner. I think it was one group. It might have been only one bloke.
One corner in the table.
Someone said I was washed. Yeah, right, mate. You watch one match of him live, and you're like, oh, he's not so good. You need to watch them in context, sort of thing.
That's just the Aussie culture as well.
There's a bit of that. We don't want to see the English win. Yeah,
Boganish,
we don't want to see the English win at all. Even though Stephen Bunting's walk-on was a big hit in Wollongong, as you'd expect. This was one moment where he took out 70 on double 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dan Dawson was talking about how there might be a bit of that going on in the previous couple of legs, and that was a confirmation of that sort of thing.
It was.
But he just plows through probably better than anybody else.
He does.
We've seen guys.
He does.
Famously, Gowan Price went on and got one of these and put on the headphones for a set which didn't help him because he against Lateral Clements, which is one of the funniest pieces of footage in the history of.
I think it is
in the history of PDC darts. Yes, that was a little bit disappointing, but overall the crowd was pretty good throughout the weekend. And Littler, I was just going to say there, he missed one double there. His doubling wasn't amazing, and he sometimes switched to double 16, double 8, and that didn't particularly do him much better either. So his doubling probably wasn't quite as sharp as it could be. That was the only massive letdown from the event. Let's talk ANZ Premier League. So a reminder. And I'm actually going to try and get the order of merits up on front of me. I haven't been able to do that just yet. Simon Whitlock, we know, is already there, which is what we want to see. Ross Bray will be there as well as one of the referees.
Hopefully he's on that first night. That'd be great.
We want to see him in the arena there. So I believe it's the top two from the ADA, the top two from the New Zealand, Darts Players New Zealand, and the top three from the DPA, the Darts Players Australia. I think that's how it is. We're joined by top two from the ADA, top 3 from the DPA as well. Yeah. So
Okay.
let me get the order of merit, and I need to make sure I get the right one as well, because every time you click on this website, there's like 2 of them there, and this is the one I want, because Joe Comito is well ahead of everyone else. He's got 50 points in front of everyone else. So it's Comito, Bailey, and Kling at the moment. Tim Pusey's just outside on that DPA one, but I'm pretty sure he's second, isn't he, on the ADA rankings?
Tim Pusey, yeah, he's just below Ray Smith of
I don't know.
$4,720
Yeah.
in prize money. So
Yeah.
he's a bit ahead of the next, which is Robbie King.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see what Raymond Smith does there. If he does decide to go and take on this ANZ Premier League, or if he leaves it alone,
That's
given
true.
it's a spot to the World Championship. He can still play in it and then decline the spot.
That's true.
We've seen guys do that in the past. Bo Griggs won Women's World Match Plays and said, no, I'm going to Lakeside. So that isn't a problem in of itself. So, but I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything there.
No.
Who are the guys you'd be most interested in seeing on the New Zealand on the
Aussie side.
ANZ Premier League? Start with the Aussies. I'll get the New Zealand in front of me while you speak.
Sure. Well, it's sort of just looking at the guys who played in Wollongong this weekend, wasn't it? So I want to see Clinch there. He was good, even though he only got 1 leg, but I've been liking his progression. I've been watching some of his games, been seeing some of the results. So I really like him. Pusey as well. I think he'll be close to being in there. But those are my 2 for the moment. The rest I don't know, but those are my 2 that I've really highlighted.
I keep getting the 2024 one in front of me. I need to find 2025 here in New Zealand. Come on, fellas. Tim Pusey for mine is definitely the one that I'm the most interested in seeing.
Yeah.
He's got. I'm not sure how he does it with that drawback all the way, hitting the
back to his
glasses.
eye.
That's a very
glasses, true.
interesting way of going about it.
It's very
But
similar
look,
to a Gary Anderson type throw.
it's a sort of Gary Anderson type thing, but Gary Anderson does go all the way back to his glasses. Pusey does.
Yeah.
It's sort of, I think he knocks them. So it's a very
If it works, it
interesting
works,
way
right?
of doing
If it
it.
broke.
But absolutely. Tim Pusey's definitely the one that I'm easily the most interested
100%.
in seeing. Joe Comito as well, just because I think, based on this, he'll probably get back into the World Championships just through that DPA order of merit.
Yep.
And he wasn't too bad at the World Championship last time, and I think
Yeah,
an
he's all right,
additional,
actually. Yeah.
much like how I'm also hoping for Rashid Sweeting to get in off the
Come on.
off the Caribbean side of things. I think they will genuinely benefit from having the one time over. Then Comito played the first match, so he was over there, and then just as soon as he arrived, he was looking for flights home, which was a little bit disappointing. The poor guy. So Camino's another one that I'm really interested in, and given that he's probably going to make the World Championships, regardless of what happens in the Premier League, I'm interested to see how his form is going in.
Yep.
Simon Whitlock as well. It'll be awesome to see him
course,
back
the
as
wizard.
Ali Pali.
The glasses.
Yeah,
He's
just,
on.
just everything.
Everything about him.
About him, yeah. So they're the guys at the moment. Ben Robb obviously is still the top guy over there in New Zealand.
He'd be headlining the New Zealand setup for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I still can't find what I'm looking for here. It still says 2024. Mark Cleaver was on top of that, so he might be one there. See if I can find it through Dark Connect, actually. So ANZ Premier League is coming up. The first night is on the 4th of August. They were 4th of October. They were really referencing it during the broadcast.
I
it was
did see that.
routinely
It was
coming
good.
up with a little scroll at the bottom,
Yep.
telling us about the fact that the ANZ Premier League is not too far away.
It's good.
And it's coming to a city near you, and I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what the crowds are going to be like,
Sure.
and how vivid of the imagination does it take over here. Oh yeah, the Dark Connect, it tells me averages instead of actual what I want.
Right.
So Johnny Tartar's on top of the average ahead of Puha and Ben Robb. So Johnny Tartar surprised me a little bit with how he did overall on the Wollongong stage this week. So he might be another interesting one. We'll keep an eye on and see if he qualifies through the ANZ Premier for the ANZ Premier League spot on the World Championship. First night in Melbourne. We're looking forward to it.
Can't wait.
I promise you,
Less than 2 months now.
Yeah, less than 2 months away, and I promise you that we'll be there in Melbourne, and then every night thereafter, Saturday evenings, you can watch it through Fox Sports and KO for the Australian listeners, and on PDC TV globally. It's also on I think is it Sky in New Zealand? It's something like that.
Or ITV, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it might be
it won't
Sky.
be. Yeah, it'll be on I think Sky NZ is the New Zealand one, but internationally, outside of Australia, New Zealand, it'll be on PDC.tv.
Yep.
It won't be on their television. You'll get it through your PDC.tv subscription. So I'm looking forward to the ANZ Premier League and just seeing how it goes. It's the first time it's ever happened, and we're going to the first ever night. So we'll be walking. All of us who will be there will be walking into uncharted territory.
Pretty much.
It'll be a new era in Australian darts, where it takes us, and whether we can overdo this sort of backwards collapse in form will be something we'll be very much on the lookout for. Now, in the JDC, we'll get to Carl in a moment. In the JDC, it's a quiet time in terms of any sort of youth darts, really top level youth darts happening. But there are a couple of interesting announcements. JDC welcoming to the JDC family is Kenya and Hungary. And as a matter of fact, Hungary as well will be making their debut in November at the JDC World Cup. I don't think Kenya are quite over that at the moment, but I'm loving to see the Kenyan darts, and it's a Peter Wachuri effect that he's really taken over everything. We love that. So they've got academies getting going in both of those nations. Oh no, Team Kenya is going to the World Cup for the first time in November in Gibraltar. The reason why I didn't see that is because they actually bothered to make a separate paragraph on the Facebook post for the Hungary one, but it wasn't on the Kenya one, so it's sort of blended in. So they'll both be at the JDC World Cup in Gibraltar this November. So well done to all involved, and we look forward to seeing what they can do in the years to come. So Hungary and Kenya are now part of the JDC family, and that's the Future Star segment this week. Rightly so, the Australian Darts Masters from 2026 onwards will be named after Carl Anderson. He won the Auckland Darts Masters in 2017. He hit a couple of 9-darter actually, one at the World Championship and one at the European Championship against Michael Van Gerwen. So important. You can't really tell the story of Australian darts without him. You can't tell the story of Australia at the World Cup without him as well, because he was there for about 4 or 5 years between Paul Nicholson and Damon Heta. So he was there with Simon Whitlock. It is a fitting tribute to have this biggest occasion on Australian televised darts for the PDC to be in the memory of Carl Anderson, who is still very deeply missed. Yes,
rest in peace. Yeah, well, Simon Whitlock has been talking about him since his journey, obviously in the World Cup as well, playing with him, and how much of an influence he is to Australian darts at the moment. He sort of started it all, really, because back in those early days, obviously Nicholson as well, but he really...
The Nicholson was more where England came over to Australia, then went back, and when it was about representing a country, he was always going to pick Australia.
Of course.
But he's from England more than anything else, Nicholson. So we can say from that regard... that Whitlock and Anderson were really the two big ones from a PDC side of things. There were a few in the BDO back in the day, including Tony David, who won the World Championship in 2002 at the Lakeside. But it was really those two guys, Anderson and Whitlock, who have been the stalwarts of the PDC side of things. And so it'll be great in future that they'll be presenting the Carl Anderson Trophy to future winners of the Australian Darts Masters, which also I think I don't think was much going to be much of a worry anyway, but it sort of holds on to the fact that the Australian Darts Masters will be around for plenty more years to come. I don't think there was any doubt, but that was good. And the Wollongong local population got behind it, and those who travelled in for the event. Right, moving away now, that's the last we have for the Australian Darts Masters, that we will talk a bit more World Series right at the end. Daryl Christie won his maiden CDC title, the CDC Showcase, in Indianapolis in Event 8.
Yes, August 1 to 3, Event 8. He won, go from the quarterfinals and above, so he won 6-0 whitewash against Nick Lindberg. The semi-final 7-4 against my man Leonard Gates, and the final 7-5 against Jacob Taylor. So some nice little money for him there, and he played very well, and gets his main title. So happy days.
Happy days. CDC doing great job. International pairs, no Australia. Very frustrating. When the international pairs was first pitched, Australia was like one of the first few nations mentioned, and Paul Nicholson being heavily involved at Modus with the commentary side of things was a big part of that, and Mason Whitlock being there, and Simon just losing his card. Not to be, though. Canada, Netherlands, South Africa, Sweden, Wales, Germany, Denmark, the USA, England, Switzerland, the Republic of Ireland, and Scotland. England probably have to be favourites with Steve Beaton and Adrian Lewis.
You think so?
Big stalwarts, long-time stalwarts of the game. The Republic of Ireland, though, as well, I like with Hinahan and O'Shea. They like that particular stage. I can't really go past when Robert Thornton is playing for Scotland as well.
And Andreas Harrison for Sweden, he's always deadly on the
But Van
live
Ski and Van Tripe as well for the Netherlands is sort of another obvious one.
Well, they won the first one.
As they are the defending champions, of course.
Defending it, yes. Who else can we see? Oh, Richie Burnett, Kurt Barry. They could be a bit of a wild card there.
And I don't think they probably won't even get to finals night. But with Devon Peterson playing for South Africa, I think they're going to be hard to beat in each individual match. I don't think they'll make too much of a deep run. I don't think they'll get to Saturday. But when Devon Peterson is playing for his country, he's going to pull out all the stops. Passionate and Devon Peterson we love. So that's the second International Pairs Week, which is coming up very soon, 25th to 30th of August.
Just under 2 weeks away.
This week at Modus, actually before that, 31st of August, in more influencer darts. That's all we get. Jack Mates there again. Ollie Howard is there again. But Adrian Lewis will be there, and I'm pretty sure Phil Taylor will be there as a spectator talker sort of thing as well. I'm pretty sure it's sort of in and around this sort of event. But big names there, so again, a lot of regulars that we see Modus all the time: Peterson, Beaton, Burnett, Jane Walker, Robert Thornton, Jimmy Van Ski,
Alex Spellman
as well. We see these guys there quite a bit at Modus. But the move from Modus to get these sort of influencer social media guys is a real clear strategy that they're going for, and I think it's working.
It's working very well.
They're always very interesting events.
They are. Well, prime example again, Ollie Howard. I was saying he's better than an influencer, and then what happened 2-3 weeks ago? He got a invite into a weekly fixture. And
this could be this could be future part of another Instagram reel at some point. We're just going to mash up all the times we talked about Ollie Howard as he builds what his career will be like in years to come, perhaps.
And then he'll have a weekly win £5,000, get the Champions Week, win another 25, get a spot in the ADC Global Championships. Yeah. It's just it's a whole story. It's a whole spiral effect. But yeah, that'll be good. Looking forward to that. And obviously Adrian Lewis is going to headline that one.
Now, Danny Van Tripe put on perhaps the greatest performance ever seen at Portsmouth in the final.
Oh my God.
Poor Dean Finn was nowhere near 71.63 average, 120.24 average. On the record averages on TV, there's MVG and who was it at the World Cup? I think it was Kim Hybreaks against Paul Lim. Yeah. Other than that, there aren't many others. Luke Lilla put in a great performance many years ago in a weekly final, but this was the 124 edge, 4 out of 5. But you notice something, Josh? Notice that 141 there at the bottom. You know what that means?
Let's play it.
Record held by David Evans in the very first week. And if he carries on like this, we're going to be talking about record averages altogether. There is no doubt in 2025, this man has got better. And this man is 6 into the 9, and we've never seen it on a Saturday night here before.
And you require 141.
Be the first player to do it on a Saturday. It's on.
Double 12. Danny Van Tripe is the first ever player to hit a Saturday night darter. And just listen to the frenzy.
Finally,
nuts.
You want to say you were there for the first. They only fit about 100 people in there, but there were about 500 saying they were there. That they were there for the first ever one at on a Saturday at Modus. 12, 13, 9.
No, I think last one was about 15 or 16.
Yeah, it was poor. That's what it was. It was poor. Great stuff. Danny Van Tripe. What a week. So these are the weekly winners. They've got it sorted for us.
Something.
All right, Jeff Smith, Scott Taylor, John O'Shea, Shane McGurk, Andy Hamilton, Adam Gablas, Jimmy Van Ski, Graham Usher, Derek Colson, Richard McKee, Jurden van der Velde and Danny Van Tripe are the weekly winners. That's from weeks 1 through 12 at the Modus. Series 11 concludes with Champions Week, and this is how it shakes up in the groups.
Yes, so Group A, Shane McGurk, Derek Coulson, Jimmy Van Ski, Jurgen van der Velde, Scott Taylor and Graham Usher. Group B, John O'Shea, Adam Gallows and Jeff Smith, and obviously whoever trickles down to Group A. Group C, the Hammer, Andy Hamilton, Richard McKee and Danny Van Tripe. The Group C contestants. Have we go to the Group A standings. Graham Usher, he is the one to look out for. 8-2, record sitting nicely at 16 points. Van Ski and Van der Velde are also second and third, pushing for that Group A spot. But you think Usher would take out Group A and cement himself into finals night. But disappointingly, Shane McGurk's only won 2
I'm looking
games.
at Shane McGurk. They're very
he's been
disappointed
average.
from the Lakeside World Champions. So
Whilst I was doing the rundown, I was watching on the Monday night, I think it was, Monday night. So, yeah, there's some good action there. Derek Coulson as well, back for the 4th time. So, he'll look to get a win there. Scott Taylor's been okay, but we'll keep watching that for sure, eagerly. And who do you
absolutely.
think? Who do you think will win it? Just a
let me
quick
just
guess.
go back to this sort of thing.
good idea.
Who is the type of guy?
Who are you seeing pick up that trophy in a spot in the ADC Global
Ooh, that
Championships
is a
this
very
year?
good question. Probably.
It's tough.
It is very tough. There's a lot of big names in there. You know what? It could very well be someone with Van in their name because there's 3 of them: Vansky, Van der Velde, and Van Tripe.
That's true.
Usually it is. Actually, we should do a bit of breakdown on this. Now, particularly now that Series 11 is coming in. How often does the winner from Group A, or where does the winner come from?
Oh,
is it
true.
a Group A? Do you sneak through Group C? Do you start in Group B? Well, what's
Good
the most
point.
common route to get there? I feel like that should be a bit of analysis we should do during the week because I'd
Should.
actually like
A
to
little
know.
spreadsheet.
But I
That'd be
do
cool.
feel like quite often the winner of Group A isn't necessarily the one that kicks on.
Yeah, it's rare, actually.
That's anecdotal more than anything else, but that's sort of the feeling I get. So I'm not saying completely put a line through Usher,
No.
quality player, but I'm leaning towards Vansky or Van der Velde, I think.
Okay.
That's the way I'm going. What about you?
I can see the Hammer in Group C going pretty
Oh,
far.
yeah.
He's been pretty good. I've been liking what I'm seeing from him. Derek Coulson as well. It'd be nice for him to get a title, that's for sure, Champions Week title. But again, it's very open. Anyone can win it. It's a very contested group, no doubt. But we'll keep
It's a quality group of
watching.
12. You know what
Quality.
they should do? It's Series 11 now. Series 12 will come up later in this year. They
It
should.
will.
Well, actually, no, they can't because Leclerc has won twice. But they should try and get maybe up to Series 13 when they've got 12 different winners. Put them in for a special week where you put them all in. Get Luke Littler back at
That's a
Portsmouth.
good idea. Good idea for like a one.
A one-off champion of champions.
exhibition.
Champion of champion. No, you want so champion of champion of champion of champions. So you're the champion of the champions who won Champions Week, who are the champions of the
Series
week.
title.
No, you won your week, then you won your series, and now you're going to win this. So it's the champions of the champions of the champions. Week at Modus, if you
Work
follow.
that out, if you follow that.
I'm not even sure I've got that right. There's probably another 4 or 5
No, I
champions
think-
that need to be added in that
you have,
sentence.
actually.
Anyway, that could be something they would do. But to see Luke Littler back at Portsmouth would be something. He'd run him over that title probably,
Sure.
but it'd be fun.
It would be, for
and
sure.
over best of 4 legs, 1st to 7. That's probably the most likely time you're gonna get Littler to trip up.
True.
Because once the matches get longer, he gets harder and harder to beat. Alrighty.
Something that was also fun for you, that is.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
next one you're going.
Sorry.
You were foreshadowing into
Sorry.
this segment. I've been waiting to talk about this all week, and then I wasn't ready for you.
Well
Actually,
done.
we're not even going to talk about the 3 dot averages. We're going to talk about the first 9.
First 9. You were
50 for
good.
me and 61, 62 for you. We were on in the first leg and a half.
We
We were
were.
playing like we never played before. The adrenaline was up.
It was up.
Yeah, the darts were going nicely into the board for the both of us, I
Yeah,
felt.
looks
And then
good.
it got very, very shaky. We dipped
Sour
below
for me.
40, but the most important thing was that Josh absolutely couldn't hit a double to save my life. I could barely hit a big number, but I kept busting my score and going back to, what was it, 44 I was on. I kept going in the wrong places and deliberately busting. But anyway, the upshot of this is that despite hitting, you hit 4 ton pluses and I didn't get to any of that. I had a lot of sort of 85s, 199, which is probably close enough. I picked up a win for
You
the
did.
3rd time against you,
done.
and I think the 2nd time, I think we're 8-2 when we specifically talked about it on the podcast. And that was
there you
episode
go.
1 with
Okay.
my win. I think you won like 8 weeks in a row. It was getting very one-sided, very bored, but I
There you go.
have challenged myself, and
Well done.
yes, over the line, a 34 data was a nice one there. I think you broke in the first leg, I broke
Yeah.
back, and then it was holds the rest of the way
That's
through.
good.
I'm going to have to give you the throw for the start of the next match as well, which I'm really looking forward to, because
That's true.
the loser always throws first in our one, and it just stuck with me. So you're going to get the throw first. 2 for 39 on the doubles. Josh is poor. 3 out of 13 for me in the best of 5.
Well
I
done.
won legs on double 6, double 16, and double 10. So double 18 barely even got a look in my favourite double during the match, which was rare, but that's just the way it goes. Yeah, I was pretty happy with the way I threw, particularly for those first 2 legs. We were quite well, and
Yeah,
it
you
got
were good.
all very
You were good.
tense.
Our scoring at our best is actually pretty good.
It's not too
I
bad.
think my scoring has actually improved a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put it on, but I was on a 12-dart leg 2 days ago. I sent it to you, DM me for proof, but I was on a 12-dart leg, guys. It was 140, 121, 140, I think, and I had a
And what did it
bunch
end
of
up
missed
as?
doubles. Like, I don't know. I have to look at like 20 something, or I think it was 18 or 20, which is still good.
Which is still good, but it's
I
not
had
12.
a double 10 for 12 dart. Oh my god, I will never stop thinking about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was good fun. But
Anyway,
well
yeah,
done
that
to
was
you
fun.
for
I'm
the victory.
going to have to give you the throw. Right, New Zealand Darts Masters is coming up this weekend, 15th to 16th of August. Who won this event last year? I think it was Humphreys. I think he beat Heta in the final. Heta definitely made the final here. Last year, the big PDC names are Price, Littler, Humphreys, Heta, Dobie, Bunting, Dedeker, and Rock. Hopefully, Cool Hand is feeling a bit better. The local guys who will try and beat them. A lot more New Zealand reputation this week. So Whitlock and Puha are there again. Johnny Tartar, Mark Cleaver, John Herring, Ben Robb, and Dean Ryland. And Gordon Mathers made it through the DPA one-off qualifiers. So we're going to see Gigi at the at that. We don't have a bracket as of this recording of this podcast. That's still at least 30 hours away, probably, knowing the PDC and these World Series events, maybe about 29, 28. So we don't have that. But last World Series event of the year, the World Series has been a bit not amazing for me, but the US one is enjoyable.
Yeah,
Stephen Bunting's
good.
won a couple of titles, so I'm happy. And I genuinely enjoyed what happened in Australia over the week. I think just watching darts at a reasonable time slot is
That's nice,
a
instead of
nice win.
What? I don't know. Any random
At 3,
hour.
4 in the morning, or
Yeah.
getting up and
Or
going
in
and
the
watching
Premier League
and
at
going on
5, 6,
on the
7.
on the replay on KO.
Yeah.
So New Zealand Darts Masters is the week ahead. Hopefully that one of these boys can upset the big names.
See how we go.
And very interested to see how the Kiwis go and see if they're doing much any better than the Aussies, particularly as we're getting close to this ANZ Premier League. You want to be hitting form right about now. A lot of these guys, Puha won't be there, obviously, as a toolcard holder, but everyone else, you want to be hitting form right now if you want to squeeze your way into the qualifying spots for the ANZ Premier League. On his 32nd birthday, Damon had a birthday during the week as well.
Yeah, on Sunday.
On his 32nd birthday back in 2019, Damon had a hit double 16, 32 after a brilliant 170 setup to win this match against Rob Cross. 8-7 close all the way, and he picks up an extremely rare tool card holder, beats big name to win a final. So that's a very rare event, and it started what he's been on now, and he remains the blueprint for Australian in the World Series, what you can do now, top 10 in the world. Will probably play at the Premier League at some point. I think he'll do something like that this year. Hopefully he'll win a TV title by the time the year's out. Even a non-ranking one on the World Series is fine. Oh, one other thing I did want to mention,
quickly.
and I forgot, was the World Series Order of Merit, because that is quite important.
It is actually.
Stephen Bunting is leading it by some distance. I think he can, in theory, be overtaken, but that probably won't be happening. So I expect Stephen Bunting to be the 1 seed for the finals, which is the worst of the PDC televised events. It's a bit of a mess in terms of how their qualifying criteria, but at the moment, the seeds would be Bunting, Price, Littler, Cross, Humphreys, Aspinall, Dobie, Van Gerwen, but Van Gerwen's not there, and Heta and Damo just need to win their match to overtake him. I believe, it's 3 points for a win and 1 point for just showing up. So they'll actually go level and will very likely overtake Van Gerwen. But I still expect guys who've won at least a match on any World Series event to be there. So in addition to Van Gerwen, Dedeker and Heta, expect Peter Wright, Johnny Clayton, Josh Rock, Christopher Tysky, Jason Brandon, Danny Lauby, Kevin Dotes, Raymond Van Barnabel, Jermaine Watermana, and Paolo Nebreda to be there. There's a World Series, there's some good names. There's a World Series tour card holder qualifier on later that gives 8 spots, and I think they just give the random 4 to just whoever's available that weekend and who's high up on the rankings. I know Johnny Clayton was one of those last year, but that's where that's at. But in terms of the seedings, which is the most important thing, this World Series of Merit it determines, expect Stephen Bunting. Again, I think Gerwen Price can overtake him, but mathematically, but more likely than not, Stephen Bunting will be the 1 seed going into the World Series Darts Finals in about a month from now. But your Darts Archive, Josh, we're going to New Zealand, and I can't say I know the result of this match.
No.
Both players averaging 107, though. Sounds like a darts match I would like to watch.
Let me take you back to the 2023 New Zealand Darts Masters, the semi-final, first of 7 legs in this one. just a couple weeks after Aspinall had the World Match Play.
Oh yes, of
crown,
course. So this
of
is
course,
Aspinall
yes.
pretty much at his pomp.
This was at his peak, really. Yeah, I mean, he's obviously in good form now, being in the Premier League and whatnot. But this was at a stage where he obviously won the second biggest ranking event. Now he's playing in this match.
And Smith is the world number one and defending world champion at this point.
Yeah,
in
so
time,
both of them are
2023.
actually a really
so
good
both
stage
of them
in their
are
career.
at the best stage in their
Exactly.
career.
So
Yeah, exactly.
Blue Boy starts the game with a 12-dart hold. Looks very, very sharp. Aspinall fights back, but will he secure the victory?
We'll
find
find
out next week.
Both players averaging 107 though. Looks like a match I would like to watch. A best of 13 leg encounter for you that one. So that's
Enjoy.
an easy one to whip through. Right, that's all we've got. That's
Just on
all the time we're allowed in the
skedaddle.
podcast studio at the moment. Thank you very much, Josh.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Next week, I look forward to talking about Modus with you.
Yes.
Given that we will have a Series 11 champion, and I have a sneaking suspicion Van will be in the title of
3 choices.
Yeah, with three different choices.
3 out of
there.
12 there.
Yeah, but PDC and Modus, of course, is the big thing as well with the World Series coming up with the New Zealand event, which you can catch in check local guides for details. But it's at a good
Fox and
time
KO, Australia
for
time.
the Australian viewers among us.
Or it'll be like 9 p.m.-ish our time, because obviously the 2-hour time difference.
Well,
Or we'll start earlier.
that's actually a good question. I don't know for
Actually
sure.
don't know.
It might even, if anything, it might be a fraction earlier than normal.
That'd be good.
There's a Friday night football match over in Perth that starts at 8, so I'm hoping it all sort of nicely lines up.
That'd be nice.
Uh,
I'm on both
just for,
screens.
easy for everyone's viewing.
It is.
I'm not 100 again because we don't have a bracket. I don't think they even have an order of play yet. But
No.
and probably it's going to take me forever to try and work out what last year's one was. Oh no, here we go. Yes, 17 o'clock is 5 o'clock. Yeah, so it'll be an early start.
5 p.m.
5
Aussie
p.m.
time?
Australian Eastern Standard Time.
Oh,
yes,
cool.
because this.
Oh, because 7 p.m. Oh, because of
Because
course.
it's because they're
Silly,
ahead
man,
of
'cause
us.
it's
They're
ahead,
not.
silly.
We're not behind.
God, I thought it was the
Yeah,
other way around.
yeah.
Okay, well, that's nice.
Yeah, so 5 o'clock local time, Australian Eastern Standard Time, Melbourne time, will be when it gets underway for us.
Cool.
So yeah, Fox Sports and KO is the way to
Other way
go
around,
in
silly.
this part. Yeah, exactly. And the final on the Saturday night is scheduled for 8:30. Times vary; they never start right on. They start about 10
No.
minutes late with that first game. It's always
Yeah.
they always list it for the top of the hour, but it always starts
No.
at about 10, 15 minutes past the hour. So don't quite rush your way into that one, but that's roughly when it will be, according to this. Even though it's just saying last 16 P1, so we'll see. All right, Josh, we'll wrap it up.
We will. Go
All right,
ahead off.
PDC and Modus will be coming up in episode 30.
And everything else, of course, on
So
Planet Darts.
stay tuned for that. This has been the 9 Dar Podcast.